Hello, I'm here on my own in the shop, about to do the shop tour. Loads of stuff to show you.
No, he's not. Tough luck. It's going to be great.
It would have been so good.
Whoa, Matt. This isn't for now. This is for later.
Can we open it?
No, we can't open it. Come on, we've got things to show the people. Be professional, man. So we've got plenty of masking at the moment. So if you want loose mask complete, yeah, we got that. If you want box mask complete, yeah, we got that. If you want sealed stuff, yeah, we got that as well. We've got amazing. We've got different boxes. So we've got both different versions of different items. Look at the quality there. Beautiful. Lovely. That's all complete with inners and everything. Really, really nice box. Nice example. We've got unused items. It's great. We've got everything from your smaller vehicles right through to your big play sets. But what's Gav got over there?
Look, laser command.
Yeah, of the play sets, of all the things I did for Mask, this is the kind of the holy grail. It's the kind of piece that you must have in your collection. I love a laser command. Having said that, they've got finally expensive recently.
I believe this one works, doesn't it?
It does work. It's all ready to go. Very nice indeed. Not everything's gone up in price, of course. Some things have actually dropped a bit. Take, for example, these Britain's tractors. There's one, £50, and there's another one, £40. Now, in the world of diecast, that's probably quite a humble price, really. It's not too expensive. But having looked at recent auction results, these are something that we're probably going to have to reduce in price in order to sell. Just goes to show that not everything goes up, but I do really love them.
Welcome to the Cabinet of Smalls. Not quite what you think, but what we've got, we've just put all the little stuff in here, all the cool little bits. So we've got Pokemon, which the kids are loving at the minute, half term. Then down to micro machines, we've moved them. Got some lovely boxed ones. Look at them fighter planes. But there we go. My absolute favourite though are muscles. Now, what we've done, as everyone knows who collects muscles, to try and stand them all up is a real pain because they just fall over. Domino rally effect. You'll be there ages. So James, who works here, had the cunning idea of putting them all in these little tubs in a little rainbow format. And they're brilliant. This guy's lost a hand. Oh dear. One of my favourite items in the shop, and for some reason it has been here for ages. The Soundwave cassette player. Now, back in 1984, when you had your Soundwave, all you wanted is for it to be an actual tape player, like in the show. Although, you know, was he a tape player in the show? Because Megatron fitted him somehow. Oh, let's not go into that. But yeah, so here he is, a boxed example, really nice. And you know, tapes are coming back in now. Everyone's buying them again, and they're fetching some serious prices. It's bizarre, because it's one of the worst formats, I think. But there he is, Soundwave. So you can play your rubbish tapes in him. He's only 150 quid.
One thing I've had a bit of a love affair with recently has been sort of the larger sort of scale knockoff figures. These are so rubbish that it's hilarious. And to be honest with you, they're slightly overpriced at £30 each, which for something with a bit of age to it, it seems incredible. But look how rubbish it is. They're brilliant. I mean, the paint on his face, he looks like he's been dragged down a road on his face, that one. It's just awful. But then they've got the lovely sort of, the really cool older sort of knockoff figures. What we've got here, we've got the Batman figure, really, really lovely. And he's got his card knocking about in there somewhere as well. His bubble has long since departed. But this guy, we picked this guy the other day, and I don't normally go for a military figure, but he's called Adventure Man. I mean, it's just, as a kid, imagine seeing that. Adventure Man, land, sea, air, Adventure Man is everywhere. Well, he's not really, because this is the first one of these I've had. It looks quite a lot older than it actually is as well. It's 1976, so Action Man have been doing this sort of thing really well for about 12 years by this point, as had G.I. Joe. So yeah, it's really cool though. I do love that. I was telling you, you know what it is? It's because it's new in and I'm a bit in love with it. But I do love these knockoff weird figures. They're really cool. One of the harder pieces to find in the UK is the Kenner Superpowers Batmobile. This is something often requested in the shop, and it's not the easiest to get over here. This is the first one I've had for about 4 or 5 years. It's not perfect, it's got a few issues, it's not complete, but it's an example. Normally, in this condition, we wouldn't put stuff like this out. But because we don't see it, it's not going to be here long. Because we don't see it, we've decided that we'll, you know, even still, it looks great, doesn't it? £65, Batman and Robin included, although Batman's been through a few battles. I really like it anyway.
This is a cabinet of delights here. All the favourites. But I think my favourite thing in here is Fungus the Bogeyman. Akamas Toys. It's a tin toy, and Fungus the Bogeyman was by a British illustrator, Raymond Briggs, who famously did The Snowman with Alec Jones and his lovely singing voice. And there we have him. Just look at him and look at the box artwork. He squirts slime out of his mouth, like all good 80s toys. Let's have a look at him around. Like, oh look, you have to pull his head off, fill him up with slime, and he goes for it, all out of his mouth. Oh, it's so good. Shopping list: half a dozen rotten eggs, old mice shaving cream, flaked corn's breakfast cereal. Just gross. Perfect. I love it.
He travels with his cybernetic henchman X-Ray, another surgically altered misfit who shares Dr. Hyde's hatred for the normal world. Together, they are the evil cybernetic warriors of Savage. Now, quite often you need a backstory like that on the back of a toy to make up for the fact that it's a terrible toy. Now, as we saw in our Toyshop on Tour special, for those of you that have watched it, Dave Caruana had the Dr. Hyde loose out of its box, and we have one here in the shop as well. This figure is fantastic. I love him. He's absolutely amazing. His feature is that he lights up, if you remember from the video, and he's just an amazing toy. But I also mentioned in the video about card condition. Now, this one isn't too bad for a Rambo card, believe it or not. They're really hard to find mint, but quite often bad things happen inside these cards, which is why you find mint ones popped off. Here we have Cat. Similarly, not as hard or anywhere near as hard as Dr. Hyde, but it's not one of the easier figures to get. And what's happened to her inside the packet? Her leg has popped off, which is annoying. And you'll see the card condition is quite similar. They are awfully difficult to get nice. They were hung around for a long time because they didn't sell. One of the first things I ever bought when I started buying toys was quite a few of these Rambo figures at £1 each from a shop years and years ago, and they had hundreds of the same figure. Essentially, they had hundreds of turbos and a few Rambos as well. And I just kept buying them, and I used to sell them for like £4 or £5 each many years ago, and now they're worth a lot more than that. But I think back to those card conditions, and even they weren't mint, and they were sort of shop stock. You know, not a lot of those were actually mint. So, yeah, card condition on these always suffers. The figures are brilliant, and her leg, if I take her out, she'll pop straight back on. And that might be the next destination for her. For such a violent film, they really licensed the backside out of this. Look at this. Get your own plastic. I mean, that was plastic, so that was obviously for a young child. Bluebird toys. You know, they thought, you know what the kids want? The little kids. We've got to provide for them as well for our 18 certificate film. So for the 5s and under, we've got this nice beaker set where you can recreate. It's madness. And I know it was for the cartoon that they were planning or whatever they did, but it's still, like, frankly amoral. It's weird. And then we've got, you know, you could then recreate the scene of stabbing someone with this handy knife. I mean, it's just, what were they thinking? It's crazy. But yeah, just something about them though that is actually really cool as well. But madness.
And that's where the A-Team come in. Shooting, violence, explosions. No one died, no one got injured. Someone may have, you know, chipped a toenail or something. That's all we know. Does anyone want to come to my A-Team party? Be there.
Gav hates the A-Team.
I don't. I'm having an A-Team party.
What are you hugging for comfort at the moment, Gavin?
Well, I've already got one of them Stay Puffs, so I'm hugging my Chickaboo.
Oh. Tell us a bit about him, Mr. Gav.
Well, Chickaboo, released in the mid-70s, they were called Monchichis. And this is kind of your standard one. Well, they were actually this size when they came out. These were later. And this is the popular one. It's a monkey, and he's Stay There Man. And he's got a little thing, sucks his thumb. It's really cute. But they did loads. I had these as a kid. My favourite one, they're called Chickaboos over here and Monchichis over there. But look at this little kitten. She's so cute. They did everything. There's a lamb, never seen it before. Woolly. And they all have the little cute feature. This is actually an old one. Very cool.
You'd get outfits for them and everything, couldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
They're really amazing. We find quite a lot of them around here because they're distributed by Palitor.
They were, yes.
The 80s were a feast of space cowboys, Brave Star, and of course you had the Galaxy Rangers. There was all sorts of weird stuff you could get, but this is one of my favourite lines. And in particular, this guy, Captain Kidd. Why do I like him? Look at his cape. He's basically brought a hearth rug to put around his neck. It's amazing. It's absolutely brilliant. Any kid of the 80s, you went around to somebody's house and they had those rugs made of something that had died, basically. And he wore it as a cape. And I've not seen that on any other action figure, that sort of tight. I mean, look how thick it is. It's amazing. And the whole range is brilliant. They're extremely hard to get. Really cool toy line. I love these. Finding them carded, loose, complete, with a working action, really hard. You'll often find them like this loose guy in here, who's £25. Action doesn't work, no hat, you know, that's normal. But then you really have to go up a bit to get Doc here, who has complete, with a working action, really nice. And because they're white as well, they go yellow. So this guy's a really nice loose example. But find them carded like this is how you want to find them. These are gorgeous.
So, big Star Wars vehicles. We've got a Jawa Sandcrawler. And it is in such amazing condition. Basically what you do, it's got a little remote. You drive it along, knock all your action figures over, plough over your Jawas. And it's great. The detail on it is incredible. On all the vintage vehicles, actually. They've made so much effort with all the detail. And this is no exception to that. It could do with a few more colours on it, I think, personally. But, you know, it's of the time. But anyway, let's move on to another big Star Wars vehicle.
Now play the music.
So, the Razor Crest. It's
Yeah.
finally here, after all this time.
Yeah, and it is noticeable to say it is the Razor Crest. How many did we order, Gav?
2.
How many have we got, Gav?
1.
How annoyed am I, Gav?
A little bit.
Yeah, I like this. So my thought, naively, when I ordered these a year or so ago, was that I was going to get 2 and I'd sell one and keep the other. I've got this one, a guy that already wants this, so this is kind of spoken for, and I'm waiting on the other one.
It's really cool.
It's really cool.
The pack, like, they've gone to work on this packaging.
It's beautiful.
It looks like a vintage vehicle.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I mean, if we turn it round, is it quite weighted? So I'm not.
Is it quite weighted?
It's
No,
not,
it's
not
fine,
too
Gav.
bad actually.
It's fine, Gav. It's fine. It's not heavy at all.
There we go. Look at that.
You did really
Like
well. with
classic artwork. Shame I didn't have my gloves. But there we go. Look at that. Just like vintage packaging, designed by HasLab.
that. Ace.
That was their crowdfunding. Yeah.
And I don't think you can have any bad. People will get annoyed.
I'd love to. I want to see it out. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same.
So we need your
boat.
other one to come.
I know.
Would you get it up on display?
But I'm not sure if it's going to. It's meant to have 1 tracking number. It says 1 of 2 on the outer box, and then it doesn't arrive. And you're like, oh no. Can I ask you, Razor Crest or that vintage Sandcrawler? It's a hard one, isn't it?
Vintage Sandcrawler. Even though it's just a big brown chunk of plastic, and this is looks to be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know, it is a tough one.
It is. I want to get this out and see what it's like before I made that judgment. But my instincts are always that. Because that Jawa Synchro is so clean.
Yeah.
So much cool stuff in the shop at the minute. So that's it. That's the end of this shop tour. We've come to an end, finally, Gavin. Finally finished. But we have things to tell you, don't we?
Oh yeah, what we got?
Well, Toyshop on Tour Series 2 is in the planning stages and will be filmed this summer. And we've got a couple more specials for you coming very soon. So if you've not checked out our first special, go and do that now. But if we have got more on the way.
Yeah, so don't forget, go back, like and subscribe, watch all the new stuff, and there's a whole load of old stuff on there that you can watch.
Yeah, click stuff.
Click stuff.
Get it.